Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Todd Bowen from sittingposture.com. Welcome to today's video, Computer Posture Mistakes and Fixes, Episode 11. Thanks for joining me. I do value your time, and I promise I will make it as worthwhile as possible. Computer posture can be a very painful and boring topic. I try to create content that is always free, open-minded, relatable, and actionable. Quick note though, I do want to mention that the info in this presentation is not medical advice. It's based off of my experience and my opinions. I talk about good habits that have helped me live a higher quality sedentary lifestyle. Do your research, make good decisions, and be the best possible advocate you can be for your own healthcare. The specific goals of my channel are to help the user decrease pain caused by sitting at a computer. That's always going to be my number one goal. Increase energy, improve mental clarity, and increase work productivity. All those go hand in hand when improving posture. About me, Todd Bowen is my name. Again, sittingposture.com is my website. I've got a degree in information technology, so I've taken classes like workstation ergonomics and user experience, lifelong athlete and exerciser, and 20 plus years of a sedentary lifestyle. Here's a quick look at my website, sittingposture.com. If you want to, you can go here and sign up for my weekly email address, weekly email newsletter. I send one email a week on Fridays usually. It includes the link to the article that I wrote that week for my website, as well as 2 links for the YouTube videos that I posted that week. I post YouTube videos every Wednesday and Sunday. All right, now let's get into it. This is the Computer Posture Mistakes and Fixes series, episode 11. One last note, I'm not compensated by any product sellers or manufacturers. There's no paid promotion in this video. So if I mention something about a desk or a keyboard, I'm not paid by that company. It's just a product that I bought with my own money that has helped me improve my lifestyle and my posture. All right, quick note here. This is a very popular picture that I use. You can see that forward slouching that the user is engaged in here. He's not taking advantage of resting against the backrest. You don't have to fully rest against it, but you do need to take advantage of it a little bit. This is called kyphosis, when the upper back leans forward and slouches forward like this. What that does is that creates a lot of inflammation in the spine, as well as spinal disc degeneration. If you look down at his elbows, are in a pretty decent spot. They're just above the keyboard. His hands are suspended all day long, though. He doesn't have anything to rest his wrists on, so that's going to cause some issues up here in either the traps or the upper back area. There's a lot of repetitive strain going on there in order to hold those elbows and hands up in the air all day long. One last thing I want to mention about this picture, you'll see one foot is flat on the floor, but one is not. With this foot tucked under his body, he's contracting that hamstring over there, and when that hamstring is contracted 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, which equals 2,000 hours a year, that is a lot of repetitive strain for that hamstring. And what it does is it shortens the hamstring, it lengthens the quad, the knee becomes very confused from the front to back, the anterior to the posterior. A lot of muscle confusion going on there. Not to mention the ankles. What's going on here is a lot of compression in the front of the ankle. There's a tibialis muscle that runs from the foot up to the top of the shin, which lifts the toes up, and the back, the calves, and the soleus muscle down here. The back posterior of the leg is being extended. So you're being shortened here in the front, extended here in the back. Now this is a natural position to be in when we're squatting or walking or running, playing sports, but to hold it for 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, that's when we get into trouble. Our body's not designed to hold a position like that. It needs to be a balanced, neutral position with our feet flat on the floor. Okay, quick look here. I know these are all models on royalty-free videos, but they are great examples of posture and people's expressions when they're in those posture positions. She's looking down at her laptop. Obviously, sometimes we do need to work on our laptop in a remote location, but if this is her home office, it would be very beneficial for her to get an external monitor. I talk about these all the time. Mine cost me $150. Nothing too huge, just something that's higher up so her eye level is straight across with the top of the screen. When she's looking down at a 45-degree angle just to see the top of her screen, that's going to cause this forward slouching, the kyphosis that I mentioned on the last slide, and it's going to cause a lot of issues in her upper back, traps, shoulders, all kinds of issues. So an external monitor here for $150 or so. Also, it just takes a cheap $20, $15, $20 HDMI cable to plug this into the external monitor, plug the external monitor into the wall. It's that easy. There's no software or anything on mine. I just plug it right in, and it's an extension of my laptop screen. So that allows me to look straight ahead all day long. Here's a quick look at the correct version of the natural curves of the S-spine. So this is no kyphosis. You can see this user's taking advantage of the back support there slightly, which is good. And the head is above the torso, not in front of it, like in the last two pictures. And both feet are flat on the floor, which is really good. It's no desk here, so it's kind of hard to tell how that arm position is. But the elbows are above, just even with the hands or above the hands, so that's good. If the hands are higher than the elbows, that's when we get into an issue contracting that bicep, and holding that bicep for 8 hours a day can cause a lot of tendon issues in either the shoulder or the elbow, where that bicep connects to both of those joints. And like I said, both feet are flat on the floor, so that's good. This is a good picture here. Here's a quick look. This guy looks like he's happy. Looks like he doesn't have too much issues with pain. He's not expressing it, at least. But I will mention a few things about this. He's slouching forward, like our very first picture. He's not really taking advantage of the backrest. And his arms are out at a 45-degree angle, which is going to cause a lot of tension up here. Even though they're resting on the table plenty, it takes muscles to engage to lift those elbows up at a 45-degree angle like that. And then he's got his wrists, you can tell they're cranked back upwards to lift his hands up in the air to get him onto this big black bulky keyboard. I used to use a keyboard like this, and it caused a lot of carpal tunnel syndrome on my wrist. It's a familiar term you may be aware of. It's not from the actual act of typing. At least I didn't get it from that. I got it from the actual act of lifting my hands up, and that wrist pain from holding my hands up on that top of that keyboard all day long is what caused it. I switched over to a flatter keyboard that was made by Apple. They got a very flat keyboard, wireless, and it allows me to type much more comfortably. Not paid promotion. Again, Apple doesn't need my help selling their keyboards, but just the product that my carpal tunnel syndrome went away immediately after I switched over from this black bulky keyboard to a slimmer, flatter Apple keyboard. Here's the same user. He's got a little bit less curvature in his back. He's leaned back a little more comfortable. He's still got his arms at that 45-degree angle. I would raise my chair up a little bit if I was him. So that would allow me to rest this elbow closer in toward my body. And it would also lift his elbow up a little bit. So this would allow him to may allow him to not lean forward as much. He may have to, this monitor right here is top of it is eye level with him, so that's good. However, the problem is he's turned. It looks like he's looking at his laptop. Turning your upper body like this could also cause a lot of issues if he's using this too much. And here's a great example on the desk across from him. That big black, plastic keyboard. It's very bulky and high off the table, and it's got a big bulky mouse too. They also make mice that devices that are flatter and much more low profile, so you don't have to engage your wrist muscles to lift your hand on top of that mouse either. I know all this stuff sounds simple and like it doesn't make a big deal, but when it is held in that position for 8 hours a day, every day, that does cause a lot of repetitive strain injuries. Let's take a quick look over here. She's got a pretty flat keyboard. It's not the flattest one I've seen. This guy over here looks like he's got a very flat keyboard. It's hard to tell. It's very small. Sorry to make you squint if that's the case. But she's got her monitor at the top of her eye level, which is very good. She's looking sitting straight forward. Her elbows are forward and they're at a bit of an angle away from her body. I would definitely raise that chair up just a little bit if it was me. That would allow her to bring her elbows in closer to her body and not use so much contraction of the muscles up in her upper back and her shoulders. And this guy's, you can see he actually has a monitor riser, which is very good because he's taller than she is. So his monitor needed to be a little bit higher, and his monitor is at eye level. He is sitting turned though. His upper body's not really turned, but his head's turned. If he keeps his head turned like that all day long, that will definitely cause some issues, probably neck, upper back, traps. It'll cause one side of the body to lengthen, the other side of the body, those same muscles on the other side of the body to shorten. Here's another good one. We looked at a similar picture earlier. This girl is not leaning forward or slouching forward with the kyphosis. However, she is looking straight down, 45-degree angle at best to see the top of her screen, but she's looking like straight down to see the bottom of her screen. That's not good. That's not a good position to hold it in. Again, I understand if working remotely, sometimes we just have to work on our computer. We don't have the ability to use an external monitor. But if this is a home office, she would benefit greatly from an external monitor here and a HDMI cable here into the external monitor. Again, no software, huge posture benefits from using an external monitor. And also, if this is her home office, an external keyboard, that flat keyboard I was talking about, wireless keyboard would be really good. That way she can push her monitor out, push her laptop up a little bit forward, have her monitor here, and have a wireless keyboard and mouse here. Let's take a look at a few standing desks real quick. Over here, this guy seems to be standing pretty comfortably. He's got the desk at a great height. That's about how high I like to keep it. Like if his hand was down, his forearm on the keyboard, his forearm would be at a slight angle. I like to keep my elbow a little bit above the desk. It's just personal preference. That allows me to engage a little more of my tricep. Well, let's use her for example. You can see her elbow is a little bit above the desk setup. Her forearm is in a 45-degree angle. When this user over here on the right, her elbow is a little bit lower and her forearm is pretty much parallel to the floor. Both are acceptable. It's just personal preference, which one feels better. This is a pretty neutral position right here. This position over here, she's probably contracting her triceps a little bit more, definitely more than her biceps. The biceps are ones that are always got me in trouble. I've never had tricep pain or pain in the back of my elbow or the back of my shoulder from working at a computer. It's always in the bicep, the shoulder tendon, the elbow tendons, and that happens when we contract that bicep because our elbow is too far below the desk, and we have to contract that bicep to put the hand up on top of the desk, and the forearm is at an upward angle. This is the angle I like right here. Forearm is at a downward angle. This girl on the right, the user on the right, has a extended monitor, which is good. Top of the screen's at her eye level. Very beneficial. Again, here, this is a remote working location, so this company definitely has no excuse. They should definitely have monitors here for these users to plug in their laptops. It definitely could cause a lot of neck issues when working long term, even for one day, working 5 or 6, 8 hours, even if they're in from out of town or something like that, could definitely cause a lot of issues. And not to mention when posture issues, when pain comes around, work productivity lowers, mental clarity lowers. So it's beneficial for the company, not only for the user, to use external monitors here. One last picture, or next to last picture I want to look at. So you can see this user, she's got her elbow at her upper arm at a 45-degree angle. Again, I mentioned that earlier. It takes muscles to contract up here in order to lift that elbow and hold it out. Even though she is resting her forearm on the desk, it's still taking muscles contracted for 8 hours a day to lift it outward like that. If it was me, I would raise this seat up just a little bit. That would allow her to bring her elbow in closer to her rib cage. You see she's got the big black bulky plastic monitor there. and probably a bulky mouse as well. Her monitor, she's using an extended monitor, which is good. It's looks a little bit low, so if she raises that chair up to bring her elbow in closer to her rib cage, I would also put something underneath this monitor to lift it up a little bit higher, so that the top of the screen is at eye level. But other than that, it looks like she's got decent posture, taking advantage of the back support on the chair, and not slouching forward. Okay, here's a quick one. I like to use this photo a lot because it's a great example of the three most important variables I consider to be important for computer posture when sitting. The top of the screen is close to eye level. If anything, I would like to have it a little bit lower. This guy has the top of the screen a little bit higher, which I would like to have it a little bit lower, if anything. The elbows are above the working area. His hands are above the keyboard, and his elbows, we mentioned it earlier, his forearms are parallel to the floor. I would like to probably raise my seat up just a little bit, so my elbows are downward. That allows me to engage a little more of my tricep as opposed to my bicep to work. And his feet are flat on the floor. So the three most important variables, in my opinion: eyes at the top of the computer screen or close to it. Number 2, elbows above the desk level. And number 3, feet flat on the floor. Those are the three most important variables when sitting at a computer, in my opinion. And that's it for today's episode, Computer Posture Mistakes and Fixes, episode 11. Before you guys leave, I want to thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You're taking a big step forward in improving your posture as well as the quality of your life. Like I mentioned earlier, if you want to keep up with my content, sign up for my free email updates. I send out one email a week, on Fridays usually, sittingposture.com/newsletter. And you can unsubscribe anytime you want to, just by a couple clicks in any of my emails. What I do is I send out one email a week with a link to the article that I wrote that week for my website, as well as links to the 2 YouTube videos that I posted. I post YouTube videos on Wednesday and Sundays. One other thing you can do, all this is free. Download a free computer posture checklist from my website if you'd like. This is regards to sitting posture only. No standing desk information of this in this. If you want to see the 14 variables that I consider important to sit at a computer with good posture, go to sittingposture.com/checklist, and that's a PDF form that you can download, print it out easily, post it at your desk so you can flip through it when you get some downtime. Use it as a consistent reminder to check in on your posture. And one more thing, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you like this video, youtube.com/@sittingposture in your browser. Don't forget to put that @ because it will get you to my channel that way if you put that in there. And all my content is free. It always will be. The more people that see my videos, the more ability I have to make more content. So I really appreciate you guys and all the views, the comments, the likes, subscribes. That really helps me out. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and feel free to forward this video to a friend or family member who sits at a computer full time. That would be the ultimate compliment. Thanks. I appreciate you guys. This is Todd Bowen from sittingposture.com for today's video, Computer Posture Mistakes and Fixes, episode 11. Thanks, guys. I'll see you on the next video.